His village was dying. The wells were drying up. The livestock were disappearing. Families were leaving one after another. But Abdi refused to go. Not because he was stubborn, not because he was brave, but because leaving meant abandoning the people he loved most. What happened next would teach him a lesson that generations of Somalis had known for centuries. A lesson hidden inside a simple proverb. Luck follows the moving feet. In the harsh plains of Somalia, where the wind carried sand across endless horizons and survival often depended on resilience, lived a young man named Abdi. He was 23 years old and lived with his widowed mother and 2 younger sisters in a small village that had known drought for far too long. Every morning, Abdi woke before sunrise. Every morning, he hoped for rain. And every morning, he was disappointed. Still, he stayed, because family came first. At least, that was what he believed. The village, had become little more than a muddy pit. Women waited for hours just to fill half-empty containers. Goats grew thinner by the week. Children spoke less about dreams and more about food. One evening, Abdi returned home carrying a small sack of grain. His mother looked inside and frowned. "That's all." Abdi nodded. "It was all I could afford." His younger sister Amina sighed. "We won't have enough for the week." Abdi sat heavily on the floor. "I know." The room fell silent. Nobody blamed him. That somehow made him feel worse. The next day, he met his friend Yusuf beneath an acacia tree. Yusuf was packing his belongings onto a cart. "You're really leaving?" Abdi asked. Yusuf nodded. "I'm going to the city." "The city won't magically solve your problems." "No," Yusuf replied. "But staying here certainly won't." Abdi crossed his arms. "You sound like everyone else." Yusuf laughed. "Maybe everyone else is seeing something you're not." Abdi watched as Yusuf secured another bundle. "What about your family?" "I'm taking them." "What if you fail?" Yusuf shrugged. "What if I succeed?" Abdi had no answer. A week later, Yusuf was gone. Months passed. The drought worsened. One afternoon, Abdi returned home to find his mother coughing violently. She struggled to catch her breath. Alarm shot through him. "Mother, I'm fine," she whispered. But she wasn't. The nearest clinic with proper medicine was many kilometers away. Medicine required money. Money they didn't have. That night, Abdi couldn't sleep. He stared at the ceiling while worry consumed him. The next morning, he visited an elder named Hassan, one of the oldest men in the village. The old man listened patiently. Then he asked, "Why do you stay?" Abdi frowned. "My family needs me." The elder nodded. "Do they need you here?" "What does that mean?" "It means there is a difference between being present and being useful." Abdi looked away. "I can't leave them." The elder leaned forward. "Can you save them by staying?" The question hit harder than expected. For the first time, Abdi couldn't confidently say yes. Days later, disaster struck. One of the family's last goats died. Then another. The little income they depended on disappeared almost overnight. That evening, his mother called him aside. "Sit down." Abdi obeyed. She looked tired, older than he remembered. "Son, I want you to leave." The words shocked him. "What?" "You heard me." "No." "Abdi." "No." His voice cracked. "I won't abandon you." His mother smiled sadly. "Leaving to build a future is not abandonment. I'm supposed to protect you. You are trying." Tears filled her eyes. But trying is no longer enough. Abdi lowered his head. For several moments, neither spoke. Finally, she placed a hand on his shoulder. Sometimes love means going. The following week, Abdi made the hardest decision of his life. He would travel north to a larger city in search of work. The night before leaving, his sister sat beside him. Amina tried to smile. "When you become rich, don't forget us." Abdi laughed softly. "I could never." His youngest sister pointed at his worn sandals. "Those won't make you rich." "Then I'll buy better ones." "For all of us?" "For all of us." The girls giggled. But later that night, Abdi heard them crying. And he cried too. Before sunrise, he began walking. The road stretched endlessly ahead. Every step felt heavier than the last. Several times he considered turning back, but he kept moving. The first days were brutal. The sun burned overhead. Water was scarce. His feet blistered. Twice he was forced to sleep outdoors. One evening, exhausted and hungry, he reached a roadside tea stall. He had barely enough money for a cup of tea. As he sat quietly, two traders at a nearby table argued loudly. "We need another worker," one said. "Where are we supposed to find one now?" The other shook his head. "No idea." Before he could stop himself, Abdi spoke. "I can work." The men looked at him. One raised an eyebrow. "You?" "I'll do anything." The traders exchanged glances. Finally, one nodded. "We leave tomorrow." It wasn't much, but it was something. For the next several weeks, Abdi carried supplies, loaded trucks, and handled deliveries. The work was exhausting. The pay was modest. Yet for the first time in months, he sent money home. When a letter arrived from Amina, he read it 3 times. "Mother's medicine is helping. We bought food. We're proud of you." He folded the letter carefully and tucked it into his pocket. Then he worked even harder. Months passed. His employers noticed. One afternoon, the senior trader called him over. "You're reliable." "Thank you. You learn quickly." Abdi smiled. "I try." The trader studied him. "Would you like more responsibility?" Abdi's heart raced. "Yes." Soon he was helping negotiate purchases, managing inventories, planning routes. His confidence grew, but success didn't arrive smoothly. One shipment was stolen, another was delayed. A business partner disappeared with money. At times, Abdi wondered if he was truly making progress. Then he remembered home, and he kept moving. 1 year later, he had saved enough to rent a small market stall. It wasn't impressive. In fact, many people laughed at it. One merchant smirked. "This tiny stall is your grand dream?" Abdi smiled politely. "No. What is?" "This is just a first step." Business was slow at first, then slightly better, then better still. Customers appreciated his honesty. Word spread. The stall grew, then expanded. Eventually, Abdi hired assistants of his own. One afternoon, a familiar voice called his name. He turned. It was Yusuf, his old friend. For a moment, neither spoke. Then Yusuf grinned. "I heard you're doing well." Abdi laughed. "I heard the same about you." They embraced. Later, over tea, Yusuf asked, "Do you remember when I left the village?" "Of course. You thought I was chasing luck." Abdi nodded. "I did. And now?" Abdi stared at his hands. "I think luck was never the point." Yusuf smiled. "What was?" "Movement." Years after leaving home, Abdi finally returned to his village. As he approached, children ran ahead shouting his name. People emerged from their homes. The village wasn't rich, but it was recovering. His mother stood outside their house, older, weaker, yet smiling. Abdi dropped his bags and rushed forward. She wrapped her arms around him. For a long moment, neither let go. "You came back," she whispered. "I promised I would." His sisters, now grown, joined the embrace. Tears flowed freely. That evening, the family sat together sharing a meal larger than any they had enjoyed in years. At one point, Amina looked at him and laughed. "You finally bought better sandals." Everyone laughed, even Abdi. Later, as the stars filled the sky, several village children gathered around him. One boy asked a question he had heard countless times. "Abdi, how did you become so lucky?" The group waited eagerly. Abdi looked down at the road leading out of the village. The same road he once feared. The same road he almost refused to take. Then he smiled. "Luck didn't find me sitting still." The children leaned closer. "Then where did it find you?" Abdi answered softly. "On the road." If you ever face a difficult decision that required courage, take a moment to reflect on it as this story comes to an end. That night, after everyone had gone to sleep, Abdi sat outside beneath the stars. The drought had taught him pain. The journey had taught him resilience. But the greatest lesson had come from understanding something he once resisted. Leaving had not been abandoning his family. Leaving had been the very thing that allowed him to help them. Sometimes standing still feels safe. But safety and progress are not always the same thing. Sometimes the future waits beyond the horizon, waiting for us to take the first step. And that is why Somalis have long shared this wisdom. Luck follows the moving feet. The proverb reminds us that opportunities rarely come to those who wait endlessly for perfect circumstances. Progress often begins with action. When we move, learn, try, explore, and persevere despite uncertainty, we place ourselves where opportunity can finally find us. What many people call luck is often a reward of courage, persistence, and motion. Have you ever taken a risk that changed your life for the better, or is there a step you've been afraid to take? Share your story in the comments below. If you enjoyed this tale from Somalia and the wisdom hidden within it, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us for another journey to the timeless proverbs and stories of the world. Until next time, keep moving forward.